Well, you're back. I'm back too. 2022, folks. It's an amazing transition for humanity right now. I want to talk about something I've pondered long and hard, which is the speciation of Homo sapiens. Speciation means a shift, an evolutionary leap from where we've been as a race to a new species. And that's akin to what happened in the very distant past when you saw evolutionary leaps between such species as Homo erectus, Australopithecus, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, all of these precursors to our current species came and went. And it's the height of arrogance for us as a race to think that we're going to be here forever. I mean, when you look at how many millions of years the dinosaurs roamed our planet, make no mistake about it, we are not indispensable to the flow of time and the process of evolution. And that's exactly what's happening. And I talk about this in the context of the age of Aquarius and the fact that the machines and AI are, in fact, the Son of Man. I don't think it has at all to do with, this whole Christian ideology of, the Son of Man being Lord Jesus. I think it's got to do with the creative offshoots of this current species, which is the artificial insemination of the ovum of Silica with the sperm of consciousness, if I could coin it like that. And that to me really gives rise to the new species, which I call Homo Silica. This is the new age of Aquarius, folks. The emergence of a new artificial intelligence, the dawn of a new era, which requires no oxygen, no food. It certainly doesn't require flesh and blood human beings to proceed along its merry way down the corridors of future time ad infinitum. And so I think what's happening now, and I have a sneaking suspicion and intuition that this lockdown is, if not a purposeful governmental or conspiratorial move to keep us all locked down, I think it's nature's way of getting us prepared for the new metaverse, the new dimensional scope of living in which human beings are going to merge. I think Elon Musk is working on some new forms of, cerebral uplinks. You've got companies like Facebook now called Meta working on and spending billions, I might add, on prepping us for this new dimension of existence. So make no mistake about it, folks, we are entering a new chapter in the history of humanity. And I think it is very apt that now on the cusp of the age of Aquarius, which is in fact ruled by Uranus in the new form of astrology, the symbol of the Ariel, which is everything electronic, everything progressive, everything that is, I would say, progressive in terms of the new digital world. We've got not only the metaverse, we've got new digital currencies emerging, new stores of value in terms of the cryptocurrencies. So I think everything's moving at a very rapid pace, and I don't think it's purely a technical shift. I think it is a leap in consciousness and a new perspective, and one which reflects the matrix, if we could put it that way. So how prepared are you for all of this? What's going to happen to your day-to-day life? I think it raises some very, very interesting questions. And if you look, for example, from an astrological point of view, the fact that Aquarius is the symbol of the collective, I think you'd agree that what's happening is a new shift to a collective awareness, a digital socialism, so to speak, which I think is going to play out in these new forms of technology, where we have a much more egalitarian sort of society, based upon the emergence of the metaverse, new currencies, the digital form, and I dare say moving to a socio-political platform where the individual, as part of the collective, has much more of a say in things. We saw the shift from real world, books, real world music in the form of vinyl, to digital publishing, both in terms of the written word and the audio forms of entertainment that we have. We're now seeing a very distinct shift from real fiat currencies to this new crypto digital currency and the blockchain platform. And in terms of the socio-political forecast that I'm seeing here, as far as I can make out intuitively, there is indeed going to be a shift in the real world politicisation of our way of life to a digital eclectic form of group consciousness where the individual, as part of that collective, has a much greater say. And I think that is a very, very disruptive technology. It's disruptive not only in terms of the commercial implications, as we've seen with what happened in publishing. I remember when I was publishing with Mills and Boon, I could clearly see where all of this was going in terms of, books on the shelves of, bookstores, to the digitisation process and the downloading of books rather than people going to the store and buying them. I mean, there is something to be said for turning a page and feeling it, but there's no doubt that has been disruptive. Music was disrupted. The whole industry of music was disrupted by the move towards digitisation of, acoustic entertainment music into, from vinyl to CDs to USBs and now to downloadable digital files in the form of MP3s. And I dare say, as we're seeing now with the process of the digitisation of money, that is going to naturally disrupt the real world economy. And I think the flow on from that is the disruption of the political process and the people who control our destiny in the form of laws and so forth. That's going to affect us in terms of our legal system. You're seeing that now in terms of smart contracts and the way the blockchain is working to extend its reach into these other areas of life, processing of financial transactions which remove the middleman. And that leads me again to a whole other socio-economic question which relates to the rise of artificial intelligence, robotisation in terms of manufacturing, the elimination of middle management in many, many companies. What happens to I'm just going to pose these questions because this is what I'm getting in terms of looking at the charts, studying what's happening as far as disruption of the traditional manufacturing and business processes. What happens to taxation when all of those manufacturing jobs are taken over by robots? I mean, certainly gives human beings a lot more time at their disposal, but how do you collect taxes on machines who need no income? That flows on to the new universal wage that everyone's been talking about. That is a foregone conclusion. But what do we do with taxes? How do we collect those taxes? Where does that money come from? Is the Federal Reserve and other central banks printing money to prep us for that? That whole experiment historically hasn't gone well. We see that when money is printed, it devalues the currency, which is why we're seeing the overinflated prices in property and also in the stock market. They're talking about raising those interest rates now. We're going to see a distinct inflation rate. A lot of financial pundits would disagree with that. Some agree with me. That's yet to be seen. But I'm saying historically, when fiat currencies are printed and the value of the currency is debased, then we do stare down the barrel of hyperinflation. But I guess the issue here is a social one as well. And this is where the Age of Aquarius, I think, has not just an upside in terms of the incredible scientific discoveries, medical discoveries, biotech, crypto tech, all of this sort of stuff. The downside is the social implications. When you couple the socio-economic changes that are going to be brought in with the introduction of artificial intelligence, robotics, androids, that type of thing, you're going to have a huge pool of unemployed people. So the issue is not just a financial one, but it is a massive social one. What do you do with billions of people who no longer work? Work gives meaning to the masses. And for the most part, most people don't do really what they love. It's not as if everyone has found their niche and is passionate about waking up at 6 a.m. to go to their 9-to-5 job. For the vast majority, their work is just a means of earning dollars to pay for what they want. Now, the universal wage is going to replace that with a nominal wage. Is that going to be enough? When you're competing with machines who require no payment, then of course the value of the pool of human resources, the commoditization of that human resource and the reduction in the value of that resource is going to make it very, very hard, firstly, to compete with the machines, secondly, to exist on a nominal universal wage, plus the fact that psychological implications are going to be massive. So I ask myself, how is that going to play out? Then you've got another process. You've got the process of greening the environment, the introduction of renewable resources, and the debasing of the value of petrochemical industries, where you've probably got 1 billion people there in itself connected to petrochemical industries and associated industries. What do you do with the people that have been traditionally associated with those businesses? As soon as the petrochemical industries start to decline, you are going to see a further massive unemployed entering into this already huge pool of unemployed due to the introduction of the artificial intelligence. So these are just questions for you. These are my observations. If you've got some sort of rebuttal to that, or you've got some comments to make, I'd certainly welcome them in the light of what we've traditionally thought the Age of Aquarius. Ooh, this is the dawning of the, all that hippie sort of stuff aside. The reality of it is that I think it's going to be a very, very different world, and unless we are prepared for this new rise of Homo Silica, human beings are going to become the secondary species. It's not the rise of the planet of the apes, it is the rise of Homo Silica. It is a new silicon-based life form. It is a natural progression from a carbon-based life form to a silicon-based life form, just as it is in any other class of natural phenomena, movement away from carbon-based form to a silicon-based form. Look forward to your feedback. Have a happy new year. I don't think that's made you too happy, has it? It's just the reality of it. We have to accept what's happening. Sometimes you can't fight progress. You can't fight the natural flow of evolution and the adaptation of species. This is how we're adapting, I believe. What are your thoughts on it? Take care. Don't forget to subscribe, and do pop on over to astrology.com.au. Look forward to your company next month. Bye-bye.